We need to get to the major updates regarding this $5,000 stimulus check that is coming via a Doge dividend. Now, I'm going to break down why there's so many discussions happening right now that we are not even hearing of. According to multiple reports and a few of my sources, they're saying and confirming the exact same thing, that Democrats and Republicans want this to go through, but at the same time question whether or not Elon Musk is going to be able to find the savings fast enough. That's the key. So I'm going to break down what's going on at this time, explain why some are even saying that this potentially $5,000 dividend check isn't coming out, and others are saying if it comes out, it needs to happen immediately. So I'll explain all this in just a moment, but before I do, all I ask is one thing, takes 2 seconds, go ahead, hit that like button if you enjoy these daily updates, and now let's begin. Millions of people here in the United States want this. They need money to put food on the table, keep a roof over their head, and continue to make that $700 and $800 car payment. But here's what you need to understand. This additional assistance, this potentially $5,000 stimulus check is in question. Just look at this. It says Doge stimulus check update. Payment sent out might not be $5,000. That article is from Newsweek just yesterday, but why? Why are they saying that this money might not actually go to 161 million people? Might only go to 80 million people, and on top of that, it might not even be a $5,000 check. Well, in order to understand that, you need to understand a few things first. Here's one of them. This is the estimated savings as of today, $115 billion. That means over the last 50 to 60 days that President Trump has been in office, that Elon Musk has been working with the Department of Government Efficiency, they've been able to save about $115 billion. In order to get that $5,000 check, we need to be at $2 trillion at least. At least. Well, some say we may not even get to $1 trillion. And it has to do with both Democrats and Republicans. Listen to this, because this right here is concerning. And this is why some say we may never see a check. Listen to this.
Speaking of which, I want to ask you about Doge because it's got Washington, D.C. in a tizzy. I want to get your sense of how confident you are, just seeing what they've done so far, that maybe $1 trillion is within sight.
Before we listen to what this person has to say, I want to be very clear on something. When he says they have Washington in a tizzy, the reason why Democrats and Republicans alike are somewhat concerned is because Elon Musk and the Department of Government Efficiency are making all these little changes. And now they're investigating different agencies, different programs. And when they open these investigations, they're of course going to find fraud, of course going to find mismanaged funds and wasteful spending. As they do, it's going to be pushed back on Republicans and Democrats. And they don't want that. Let's keep listening.
I think it's incredibly insight, but what I worry about is both parties. I think Washington's crooked as a dog's leg, and that in Washington, the money's going to come back to somewhere. You're going to see that paper trail, and I think that's when you're going to see, and I told Elon Musk this, and I told President Trump, I think you've got 100 and 150 days before members of both parties start pulling out on you.
Right there. He told President Trump and Elon Musk they got between 100 and 150 days before members of both parties start pulling out. Why? It's because once Elon Musk opens up these investigations to figure out where the fraud is coming from, where the wasteful spending is, it's going to have a paper trail pointing to certain people, certain lawmakers with their hands in the pot. You think Nancy Pelosi just all of a sudden made, $100 million? No, not when she's getting, $200-some thousand a year? No, she wasn't making all that money. She wasn't doing it from, her time as the Speaker of the House, right? There's other things. People are getting kickbacks. That's what they're concerned with. So keep this in mind. We are overpaying for everything. We're overpaying for military contracts, right? We're overpaying for certain food items, right? We're overpaying for housing in some cases. Everything we're overpaying for. Healthcare. I could go on and on. So once Elon Musk, once he opens these different investigations to figure out where we can save money and we can start adding it to this total right here, once he figures this out, the concern is from both Republicans and Democrats, as he dives deeper, he's going to uncover more problems. But what this representative is saying, Tim Burchett, what he's saying is he's given them about 100 to 150 days before then many lawmakers start to get a little bit uneasy and say, you know what, let's just scrap this idea and we will try to figure things out later. Let's keep listening though.
Because, Charles, it's going to start hitting close to home. Elon has a paper trail, and members are getting nervous. And that's why I don't think we're bringing any of these great findings to the floor of the House or the floor of the Senate, and nobody wants to, apparently, because they're afraid it's going to cut into their pocketbooks.
There you go. They're all afraid it's going to cut into their pocketbooks. But here's the other thing. I want to be very clear on this. Do I think we're going to see a $5,000 check? No. I just don't. Do I think it could be more than that over the term of 4 years? Potentially. But I don't see that either. What we are seeing right now is there's a higher chance that we see something along the $750 to $1,500. That's what we're likely to see. Not $5,000 per household. Maybe it's $750 per individual or $1,500 per household. But that's what we're looking at, mainly because the amount of people that will be eligible for this is going to be a lot lower. The amount of money that we're able to save, again, I'll show you this to you again, $115 billion as of March 19th. That's as of today, okay? So the fact of the matter is this, we're not saving as much money as possible, or saving as much money as some were expecting. Some were expecting Elon Musk was going to come in and figure all this stuff out immediately, but here's the problem. All these numbers, all the data, it's hidden. He has to go find it. He has to find all this, and he's using his team and artificial intelligence to try to figure it out. The problem is it's going to take some time. But in the meantime, we're hearing that many Republicans are, and as well as Democrats, are getting calls from their constituents. Okay? People are calling their state representatives. They are up in arms about what's going on. So many Republicans are saying, well, Elon Musk and the Department of Government Efficiency, well, they need to do more. They need to get to that point. They need to find the fraud, find the wasteful spending, put an end to this immediately. If not, we may have to put a stop to this. So again, they are saying that we are likely going to hit $1 trillion, but probably not $2 trillion in savings. Now that $1 trillion, how long does it take before we get there? Some expect we're going to get there by 2026. Others say, no, we need to get there by like June and July of 2025, or we're going to have to put a stop to this. But listen to this.
The government, the government waste and fraud is so high that it's causing a $2 trillion annual deficit. So the country is going bankrupt. It's just, country is no different from a person. If a country overspends and doesn't spend wisely, just like a person, a country will go bankrupt. So the reason I'm here is because I'm very worried about America going bankrupt due to the corruption and waste. And if we don't do something about it, the ship of America is going to sink. And we're all on that ship.
Right there. What you need to know is that right now, because of waste, fraud, all our spending, we are operating at a $2 trillion annual deficit. $1 trillion of that is because of interest payments alone. $1 trillion of our annual deficit is because of interest payments alone. That's it. So keep this in mind. Okay? The speculation, the talk, and the proposals over this potentially $5,000 Doge dividend was they were going to be able to save $2 trillion. Of the $2 trillion that they're able to save, they were going to take 20% of that. That was going to go to the American people. Okay? That was $400 billion that means if 80 million people receive the check, that's $5,000 per household. Then they said 20%, or another $400 billion of the savings would go to paying down our deficit. Okay? So essentially, we're going to be paying just as much to the American people as we pay into our deficit. The problem there is some deficit hawks say, no, we need to put more towards the deficit. We don't need to give people money. Then others, and Democrats included, say we need to give the American people money. We don't need to give money and help pay down our deficit. Okay, that doesn't impact the United States at all, according to them. So we're going to see what happens. All I can tell you right now is we are starting to get more and more updates, but these updates are coming because there's changes in the economy. That's why we're seeing these. So I'll bring more and more updates as we get them, but as of right now, it is still 50-50 whether or not we are going to even see a stimulus check or a Doge dividend. Now, if we're going to see a $5,000 check, well, that, according to a few economists, is more like a 2 to 3% chance. So there's a 97 to 98% chance we see a Doge dividend. But if it's $5,000, it's a very small possibility. So we'll see what happens moving forward, but I just wanted to share this with you because I know a lot of people are asking, hey, what's going on and when are we going to receive these checks? Well, according to reports, we could be receiving these checks much sooner rather than later, only because if we wait, then there's a very high likelihood that these checks will never come out. But others say, no, these checks are coming out in the summer of 2026. That's even what the CEO of Azoria, kind of the creator of this $5,000 proposal, James Fishback, that's even what he said. The plan is to get this in place, have everything set, so that when Elon Musk finds the fraud, finds the wasteful spending, we can save the money and give it to the American people in the summer of 2026. So we'll see what happens, but that is what we know as of today. So again, thank you guys for watching. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.